Hey guys, I'm Jacqueline. This is Homeschool Hangout.xyz, and today we're talking audiobooks. We're talking all things audiobooks, specifically 6 free sources of audiobooks for you and your children. If you like these kinds of free resources, tips and tricks, do me a favor, thumbs up, like, subscribe, comment, all the things. If you're looking for resources in anything specific, a subject, a unit, a whatever, do me a favor, put it down in the comments and I will see if I can help you out. And let's get into it. So I was recently filming a video for read alouds, your favorite read alouds. And as I was going through and making my list, and I'll try to remember to link it up here, but I put in like the baby university books I like, the Sandra Boynton books I like. But as I start getting older, I realized how many of them were audiobooks. Audiobooks are great on so many levels. One, kids can listen to them by themselves, but you can also listen to them as families. You can listen to them in the car. You can listen to them while you're doing dishes. You can do so many things with your kids. I'm not just talking about in your own life. And so to that end, I was kind of wanting to just share some resources. The first set of resources I'm going to share are through your library, and they're the best resource, honestly, to me. And those are, the first one you've probably heard of is Libby. And it's taken the place, it looks like, of Overdrive. And it's the same people. Overdrive made Libby. And this is simply just like you check out a paper book in your library or CDs or cassettes of audiobooks. You are checking out, and they offer actually ebooks and they offer audiobooks. And I really like it, but it does work like your standard library system. You only have what they have to choose from. If you have multiple cards, you can access those online and get more options. I really like it because it's just like going to Audible or Amazon. You're going to get your newest books, your top of the line recordings, all of that. It's the same as going into a library and getting the same book you can buy in a bookstore. I say that because we'll get into some other resources. And you basically can choose anything that they have. And the thing with Libby is it can be a little hard. You kind of need to go in knowing what you're looking for, kind of thing, usually. I've gotten it. That's, matter of fact, that's how we listen to Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology, which he does the audiobook on. If you haven't listened to it yet, highly recommend. Highly recommend. My kids loved it. The next one is also through the library. I believe it's also done by Overdrive, but I'm not sure. And it's called Hoopla. Now, what I really like about Hoopla is you can access it on your computer, if I remember correctly, and you can choose the button to make it just kids' books. Yeah, you can access, just like Libby, you can access ebooks and audiobooks. You can also access comic books and other things. And I kind of like the fact that you can just click on the kids search. And I'm not saying it to keep your kids out of trouble, but for me, I would say, hey, you guys can just go check out anything in the kids section if you want it in the physical library. And it's kind of giving you that same opportunity. So those are two I really like. The next one is Lit2Go. And Lit2Go is definitely meant for like literature classes type thing and education. So yay, education. But which means they'll also do it where you can get the PDF of the book and play it, and you can read along with it. And that's kind of nice. They've got a variety of different things. You can search by genre. They have, a lot of different stuff. It doesn't look quite as current as, let's say, you're wanting the new Neil Gaiman or the new Rick Riordan, but it does have that PDF pairing with it so you can go through it. The next one is one we have used so much, and it's LibriVox. And they take books that are in the public domain and they get recordings for them. In reality, a lot of, how do I say this? Some audiobooks, the copyright isn't just on the book material, it's on the actual recording. So they don't go into public domain the same way, at least not yet, because books need to be 95 years old before the book's in the public domain, and then the audio recording. So these are recordings, and some of them are done by professionals and some of them are done by just people. If you wanted to narrate a book and read a book as a recording and then upload it to LibriVox, you could. So sometimes your audio is not quite at professional level. Sometimes the reading isn't quite as high level, but there's so many great public domain books to get. We started it years ago and got, what was it? Because we got a Nook for our kids a long time ago. Tells you how old I am, how long I've been doing this. We got a Nook for our kids and downloaded things like Pride and Prejudice. Emma, my daughter, loves Jane Austen. And then they got the audiobooks actually from LibriVox before you could get them through the library. They're really good. We really like them. We enjoy them, but just know that your files may be kind of hit and miss. The next free source is, it's kind of, I'm kind of hyphenating here, and it's Audible/iTunes. They both have a lot of free books. Now, you kind of have to dig through to see. Audible does have a page where it actually says free and then it has genres. It doesn't exactly have a kids section. That's kind of why I put it down here. So I would really look at those almost more for your older kids to let them kind of dig through. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at my computer right now. Download free Audible. No, that's Hoopla. Audible books. They go through and they do have a classic section, which Around the World in 80 Days, we listened to that on a trip. It was so good. So good. But it's also right next to Madame Bovary. So just keep that in mind. And, I'm not a big one for being a chicken about these things. Just go in with your eyes wide open. Huck Finn is in Coming of Age and Great Expectations in the free section. But I can also imagine some other things might be too. But Little Women, Good Wives by Louisa May Alcott, those are all free and available in audio. And those are going to be really good quality because it's audible.com. And the same thing with iTunes. iTunes has a lot of varying levels. And kind of in both of those also, there's also like literary podcasts that they tell stories. So those are definitely resources. Just be aware of what you're looking for and what you're doing. The last one is really what I consider almost more of a read aloud resource. And what I say by that is it is visual as well as an auditory experience. And that is Bookflix by Scholastic. And they are Scholastic books. And they are set aside by genre. It's always, when I look at these things, trying to figure out the best way to describe them. Explore the world of reading. And it doesn't exactly list everything. You can do a title search, but you can also just say, I want to know about people and places. And it'll give you some different options. And it'll say, do you want to watch the story, which is mostly one book, usually the younger kids book, that they show the illustrations, and you can choose whether or not to have the words on the page or off the page, and they'll follow along with the words. Or a slightly more mature book, and when I say mature, I mean it's the difference between, let's say, second grade reading and like fourth or fifth grade reading at the most. They're not chapter books. And those, they just go through the words and read aloud to them. It's nice. They do have things as low as the ABCs 1, 2, 3s on there. They kind of go that full, I would say almost like pre-K to fifth grade kind of age group. And they also have paired things like, little games dealing with the words in the books and some other stuff along that line. And it's really cute. It is done by Scholastic Books. And so I'm looking right here. The featured pair of books is Who Says Women Can't Be Doctors? And the other one is A Day with Doctors. And I can tell you, I've seen and checked out a lot of these books in the library. So these are good quality Scholastic books. Some of them are facts. Some of them are a little bit more fiction-y. But it seems great. But it is one of those things you're not going to necessarily pop it on in the car. But you could pop it on a tablet. You could put it on a computer. And they can interact with it that way. The other nice thing is because this entire site is dedicated to this, they can go anywhere on the site and kind of navigate for themselves and find something they might want to do. It also has a Spanish toggle to it. So when you toggle it in Spanish, my Spanish stinks, you also find books and stuff in Spanish. So if you can find them in English and Spanish and you have a high school kid, this is a great way to work on foreign language. And just have them go through those books in a foreign language. Read them a little kid's book. I always say when you're actually trying to learn something, you want a book below your reading level anyways. So hey. And so that's a nice thing. But it is also nice just to know who is providing stuff in other languages. So like I said, that is put on by Scholastic. So yeah, if you go through these sites, you are going to have plenty of audiobooks to keep you out of trouble for a while. Like I said, I start with Libby. Libby's my traditional go-to, but I have been disappointed when books I've wanted to read are not on Libby or have read to me. I don't know. As an adult, I like paper books, do not get me wrong, but I have to be able to dedicate that time. Whereas depending on the book, I personally love a good audiobook. While you're doing something mundane like washing dishes, driving, things like that. We've also done a lot of family trips when the kids were younger, going to Legoland and things like that, where I'm looking at my audiobook. We did the Narnia series, all free from the library on audiobook. You just couldn't get as many then. Libby wasn't as robust as it is now. Magic Tree House, when you're popping around town, great books. We did, like I said, Around the World in 80 Days, Northanger Abbey. I will be honest, listening to Shakespeare out loud is the way it literally was meant to be done. So if you've got a kid who's a little reticent in Shakespeare, I think audiobooks are the way to go. They really are. And yeah, so now you've got some free sources. What do you like to read? How do you like to read? Do you set aside a reading time? Because, reading's fundamental, not just for our kids, but for us, she says, needing to find some time to read. So I will talk to you guys later. Do me a favor. What other resources are you looking for? Are you looking for science experiment resources? Are you looking for typing? Let me know, and maybe that'll be the next collection of tools I share with you. Have a great day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.